Jerry was splitting my hair. I really didn't know what happened to me. I checked it for my hair. Oh, really? Yo, checking it. Yes, just my hair to my eyes. So you can swap it to the other one.
Work with ourselves to use this our money.
I said the thing to the pinky off your hair. I didn't know that was my hair. That's it's all with some on the bottle in the time. You only know time when I'm beginning of one day.
So if you see crime unfolding, don't tell her in your head for the right authority. Let it come take care of it. Crime stopper here for us. We can send them to your door. Whether you reach or you go. If you see a human target, I mean you check. Do it for yourself. If you see a donkey pay, you must pass on for it. Stop, people bringing safety to your door. Stop me crying and make a peace for them before. Stop Liberia, from the center to interior. Keep it outside, they stop me crying for alcohol. People bringing safety to your door. Stop me crying and make a peace for them before. Stop Liberia, from the center to interior. Keep it outside, they stop me crying for alcohol.
Crime Stopper Liberia is a community crime fighting partner.
I just want to say I want to do what next thing is. Pick out from me.
If you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self.
That's not even there, but the photo to a company on some way.
People bringing safety to your door. Stop me crying and make a peace for them before. Stop Liberia, from the center to interior. Keep it outside, they stop me crying for alcohol. People bringing safety to your door. Stop me crying and make a peace for them before. Stop Liberia, from the center to interior. Keep it outside, they stop me crying for alcohol.
Robbie, why you taking?
I said, darling, you look so worried.
Charles, I'm worried because I don't know where to get stuff for my shop in Western.
Come on, man. Haven't you heard about Exodus Best Price Store on Bell Street and Smart Road Junction on the old
What you doing with
I
the
know, Charles.
So I take off your
Exodus Best Price Store got everything for your shop and restaurant. And the good news is that they have reduced the prices of craft beer products and imported beverages. So to keep that graduation party right in the section at whatever location, jump until the break of dawn. Exodus Best Price Store is that place for you.
Is that all?
No, they have for the first time introduced on the LIB market Buffalo Revive that comes with 4 different flavors: Cool Blue, Apple Kiwi, Full Red, and Fitness Orange. It's good for athlete and everyone. For wholesale and retail supply, call cell number 0770-617-575. Exodus Best Price Store on Garden Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction. We are your cheaper wholesale and retail store.
Exactly. When you want something, I provide.
Good morning to you and welcome to the Monday edition of the program from the Print News. Today, April 28, 2025. My name is Wendell Nimna, welcoming you to this brand new presentation of the Print News, and I'm here this morning with Esther Darlin Daco. Esther, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Wendell, and good morning to the good people of Liberia. It's good to be here again on Monday. As a matter of fact, the last Monday in the month of April, and I'm glad that I can be here to make my own, thoughts and voice heard.
All right, so let's also recognize those of you following us on our Facebook Live, my personal page, and those of you on the YouTube. We want to welcome all of you to this Monday edition of the last Monday in the month of April. And we have in our studio this morning 2 local dailies. We have the Front Page Africa and the Inquirer newspaper. So I'm going to take the lead this morning with the Front Page Africa newspaper. And those of you watching us, just keep following and keep dropping your comments. We'll recognize all of you watching and listening. So let's begin with top stories from the Front Page Africa newspaper. But firstly, we want to say a big thank you to our sponsors, Crime Stoppers Liberia, headed by the big man himself, Oben Sam Sion, and also Mayuba and Sons Incorporated, headed by Amadou Sharif and Exodus Best Price Store on Gurley Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction, headed by Henry K. Jackson. So top stories, rule of law is not an option. Cummins challenges Bouaka to enforce Supreme Court ruling. And this is the very top story, first top story on the front page of the Front Page Africa newspaper. I think it will be important that we take few lines of what Cummins is saying. So let's see what we can make our way to that page, page 6 of the Front Page Africa newspaper. Let's run a few lines. Former presidential candidate Alexander Benedict Cummins has issued a stinging rebuke of Bouaka. That's rebuke of Bouaka's handling of the ongoing leadership crisis in the House of Representatives, warning that failing to uphold the Supreme Court's ruling threatens Liberia's democratic foundations. In a strongly worded statement, Cummins declared that following the rule of law is not an option and called on President Bouaka to immediately comply with and enforce the High Court's decision regarding the attempt to unseat House Speaker J. Fonati Kofa. The law is clear: 37 votes to elect, 49 votes to remove. There is no room for misinterpretation, Cummins emphasized. The so-called majority bloc does not have the numbers, and therefore their actions and the executive support of them are legally flawed. Recently, Supreme Court, in its ruling delivered by Chief Justice Yai Yene Gio, declared the actions of the majority bloc unconstitutional, stating that any sitting of the House in which the duly elected Speaker is not present but not presiding lacks legitimacy. Kuhn, however, dismissed the court's ruling as an atrocious and audacious violation of the separation of powers doctrine. He insists that Kofa's removal was carried out legally under Article 49 of the Constitution, and the House Rule 9A is supported by a resolution signed by 50 of 73 members, citing allegations of corruption and mismanagement. President Bouaka, in a national address, acknowledged the court's ruling, but said his administration will work with functional quorum. Cummins, leader of the opposition Alternative National Congress, criticized the president
and his allies for what he described as an attempt to subvert the rules instead of following due constitutional process. He stressed that if the lawmakers truly intended to remove Speaker Kofa, they should have secured the constitutionality mandated two-third majority and acted accordingly. It is not too late for that. If that is still their intention, Cummins said. Beyond the legal questions, Cummins acknowledged that Speaker Kofa appears to lack majority political support in the House of Representatives. However, he argued that this political reality should have been addressed through lawful and democratic means. An area where, he said, President Waka has failed. The president's responsibility was to broker a political solution, he noted, instead emboldened by the executive's posture. The majority bloc has refused dialogue, exacerbating the crisis. Cummins warned that Liberia now looks disorganized on the global stage and that President Waka's inaction has created a perception of weak and indecisive leadership. The president should have clearly and unequivocally stated that he would comply with the Supreme Court ruling. He did not, Cummins lamented. Well, folks, let's leave it right there because of time. Too many stories to bring you this morning. Let's jump to business story. Unreasonable and economically hazardous. Third-party multi-user access store by HPX pushed to remove accelerometers as operator despite AML's long-standing investment. And lastly, finding a lasting solution, rule of law caucus taps former President Sirleaf to mediate House crisis. And these are the big stories we're about to bring you this morning. And it says here, Rep. Coons drops Speaker title in petition for re-argument. Tacit admission to Supreme Court's ruling. Ultimately, the decision by Richard Coon to use Honorable Richard N. Coon instead of Speaker Coon in the petition filed before the Supreme Court is not just a rhetorical adjustment. It reflects the high-stakes game playing out in Liberia's democracy, one where every word, every title, and every petition could shift the balance of power. And in this game, even dropping a title may speak louder than the threats. Let's take a few lines from there. Let's take a few lines. We see the regime speaker, the purported speaker, is being photographed here alongside the Chief Justice, who is about to, vacate the stage due to her age. And so she wants to leave a legacy and she doesn't want anything to, temper with that. So let's see what the story is all about. Let's make our way up there. And it says, in the subtle but telling shift, Richard Namwe Coon, the embattled leader of the majority bloc in the House of Representatives, has dropped the title of Speaker in a legal document submitted to the Supreme Court. Once proudly defiant, Coon now signs a simply Honorable Richard N. Coon, a change that has sparked intense political speculation and legal scrutiny. This move comes just days after Coon publicly and forcefully rejected the Supreme Court's April 23, 2025 ruling, which reaffirmed J. Fonati Kofa as the legitimate Speaker of the House. In a statement issued under the authority of his office, Coon denounced the court's judgment as atrocious and audacious, accusing the justices of overstepping their constitutional limits and violating the separation of powers doctrine. He insisted that his election was valid under Article 49 of the Constitution and Rule 9A of the House's standing rules, both of which allow the removal of elected officers by a two-thirds majority vote. But on April 25, in a petition for re-argument filed with the Supreme Court, Coon appeared to retreat, at least in form. The absence of the Speaker title in the legal submission is a notable departure from months of defiance. It is not just a linguistic change, it is a strategic recalibration, noted one Monrovia-based legal analyst. By calling himself only Honorable Coon, may be signaling an implicit, if reluctant, recognition of the Supreme Court's authority. Observers suggest that this shift in tone may reflect a calculated legal strategy, tempering defiance in order to gain a more favorable hearing, while still pursuing political objectives through judicial channels. If Coon's title has softened, the content of the majority block's petition has not. The 24-page filing is laced with bold assertions and veiled threats that some experts say amount to institutional blackmail. The petition argues that if the court's ruling stands, rendering the majority bloc and its actions unconstitutional, then the national budget passed under the leadership must also be considered void. That would mean the document argues that salaries, benefits, and government operations authorized by that budget, including those of the Supreme Court, justices themselves, are legally tainted. The petition demands that the court disgorge and any funds received from the budget and suggests the justices could face appropriate sanctions for allegedly benefiting from an unconstitutional process. This reads more like a power play than a legal argument, said a constitutional expert. It is essentially, if we are illegitimate, then so are you, and you will pay the price for it. The ironing is glaring. Just weeks ago, Coon and his allies dismissed the court's rules in legislative affairs as illegitimate and refused to comply with its orders. Now, they are petitioning the same court for redress. Critics say the move smacks of political convenience. They defied the court when it didn't suit them, and now they are appealing to it because they are running out of options. Remarked a political analyst, it is less about principle and more about survival. Coon's choice to identify as Honorable Richard N. Coon instead of Speaker Coon may seem minor, but in the context of Liberia's political tensions, it speaks volumes in a system where titles carry institutional weight. That single omission could reflect a larger shift, one from confrontation to negotiation, or at the very least, a push to regroup. As the Supreme Court weighs the re-argument petition, the nation watches closely not just for the legal outcome, but for what it signals about the balance of power in Liberia. But in this fight, even a drop title can echo louder than any threat. Let's leave it right there and grab more stories. Let's run to more stories here on the front page of the Front Page Africa newspaper. And it says here, religious leaders reportedly urging Speaker Kofa to resign as senators. Opposition push executive to respect Supreme Court ruling. Catholic Church distances itself from talks. Bias negotiations, bias negotiation. Sources close to Speaker J. Fonati Kofa have voiced concerns regarding this approach, suggesting that urging his resignation rather than emphasizing the importance of the president and the majority bloc fully respecting the Supreme Court ruling could be interpreted as taking sides against the court's decision. And let's take a few lines from this story, then we come back to Esther to bring us the Inquirer newspaper. So let's get to this story. Okay, let's get to the story, and I'm running that quickly. Just, folks, let me get this thing sorted out quickly. All right, time is very, very much important. So let's get this sorted out. Yes, we are there. It says Front Page Africa has reliably gathered that Liberia's religious community, acting on the request of President Joseph Nima Bwaka, is attempting to persuade Speaker Jonathan Fonati Kofa to resign amid a prolonged political standoff in the House of Representatives. The Supreme Court recently ruled through Chief Justice Yae Yeneji Yo that the actions of the self-declared majority bloc were unconstitutional, clarifying that any House sitting held without the Speaker presiding when he is present and not incapacitated lacks legal legitimacy. Why President Bwaka, in a national address, acknowledged the Supreme Court's decision. He emphasized that his administration will work with a functional quorum. He also confirmed ongoing consultations with national stakeholders, traditional leaders, and the religious community. Sources say these consultations have begun and they include efforts to pressure Speaker Kofa to voluntarily step down. However, allies of Kofa have raised concerns that such moves may appear biased, suggesting that the focus should instead be on enforcing the Supreme Court's ruling rather than encouraging the Speaker's resignation. Supporters argue that urging Kofa to resign while members of the majority bloc remain suspended without salaries and benefits could deepen political uncertainty and expose the Speaker to criticism. Catholic Church distances itself. In response to a Front Page Africa inquiry, the Catholic Church in Liberia distanced itself from any discussions aimed at convincing Speaker Kofa to resign. Father Ambrose D. Krumah, Vicar General of the Archdiocese of Monrovia, clarified the Church's position. We stand with the Liberia Council of Churches position. The President asked for consultations, and consultations are ongoing. The Church has not taken a side. Father Krumah further emphasized that any statement suggesting the Catholic Church's direct involvement in calls for Kofa's resignation is inaccurate. Nothing that the Church, comprising the Diocese of Monrovia, Banga, and Cape Palmas, remains impartial. Previously, during his Easter message, Archbishop of Monrovia, Dr. Gabriel Jubwe, emphasized the necessity of upholding the rule of law, warning that a society without it risks descending into chaos. The Liberia Council of Churches did not respond to requests from comments as of publication. Ongoing defiance from the majority bloc, the Supreme Court's ruling was expected to bring closure to the month-long leadership dispute, which has severely hampered the legislature's operations and eroded public trust. However, defiance persists. Purported Speaker Richard Namwekon, leader of the majority bloc, rejected the court's decision, describing it as an atrocious and audacious violation of the separation of powers. Kon insists that Kofa's removal was legitimate under Article 49 of the Constitution and House Rule 9A, citing a resolution supported by 50 of the 73 members. He declared, "No opinion or judgment of the Supreme Court can or will expunge or erase this resolution from the annals of the House of Representatives, he said in a statement released via his Facebook page. Kuhn vowed that the House, under his leadership, would continue legislative business, including preparation of the 2025 national budget without recognizing the court's judgment. Further escalating tensions, some majority bloc members, including Bond County Representative James Corlett, have hinted at potential impeachment proceedings against Supreme Court justices for alleged judicial overreach. The bloc has also filed a petition for re-argument suggesting that if their actions are invalid, then the national budget passed under their leadership and associated government operation should also be considered unconstitutional. Growing domestic criticism, the majority bloc's defiant stance, along with the executive perceived hesitance to fully enforce the court's ruling, has drawn widespread condemnation. Former presidential candidate Alexander Benedict Cummings criticized President Walker's handling of the crisis, warning that failure to uphold the Supreme Court's decision jeopardizes Liberia's democracy. Following the rule of law is not optional, Cummings declared. The so-called majority bloc does not have the numbers under their actions, and the executive support are legally flawed. Human rights lawyer and former presidential candidate, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo, also criticized the president, citing Article 65 and 66 of the Constitution, and accused Bwaka of directly contradicting the High Court's ruling by continuing to work with a contested quorum. Four opposition political parties, the Congress for Democratic Change, CDC, Alternative National Congress, ANC, Movement for Economic Empowerment, MOVE, and Citizens Movement for Change, CMC, along with STAN, Chairman Moba Molu issued an ultimatum to President Bwaka demanding that he retract his remarks and fully respect the court's decision by next Tuesday. Esther, I think we can stop here and then
Of course.
send controls back to you for the continuation of the dailies. Folks, if you're just joining us, this is the program from the Print News, the Monday, April 28, 2025 edition. Let's run to Esther to bring us the Inquirer newspaper.
Interesting. Lawmakers challenge Supreme Court ruling. Okay, this is the Inquirer newspaper, sorry, and this is the top story. Lawmakers challenge Supreme Court's ruling, request re-argument over Speaker's dispute. Who tell me one waste? But I think we have already brought that. So let's look at more stories. Watch words with actions. Chief Justice Yo speaks to lawyers. Okay, this was at the AFL program when I think I'm interested. Chief Justice Yane Yo Gepe did not mind her words at the 23rd annual convention of the association. Did not mince her words at the 23rd annual convention of the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia, as she sharply criticized individuals who engage in legal commentary without a proper understanding of the law. Speaking to a hall packed with seasoned and emerging legal minds, the Chief Justice delivered a candid message on the importance of legal accuracy and professional integrity. Chief Justice Yo stated bluntly, they pretend to know the law, and their first utterance is that I am not a lawyer. Oh, but if you are not a lawyer, shut up. Her bold declaration was met with resounding applause, quietly resonating across legal cycles and public forums where debates on legal issues have become increasingly commonplace. Her comments come at a time of heightened public engagement, with constitutional matters fueled by recent controversial court rulings. Chief Justice Yo acknowledged that while free speech is a pillar of democracy, careless and misinformed legal opinions can distort public understanding and undermine respect for the judiciary and the Completion is right at page 10. Let's run there. Okay, we have it. The rule of law. There is so much to do that can be done without money, she added, shifting her focus to a broader call for national service. She urged Liberians, particularly women in the legal profession, to contribute meaningfully to societal growth through volunteerism, mentorship, and commitment to ethical standards rather than relying solely on financial resources. Chief Justice Yo reflected on her own leadership philosophy, revealing that upon assuming the post of Chief Justice, she made it clearer her administration would not depend solely on donor aid or external partnership. One thing I said is that my administration will not go on the microphone calling upon our partners and traditional partners to come and help the judiciary, she recalled, emphasizing self-resilience and innovation within institutions. The Chief Justice address served as both a critique and an inspiration, pushing for greater civic responsibility, legal literacy, and a cultural shift towards solutions that do not always require financial intervention. She stressed that tangible change could start from wherever individuals find themselves, be it in institutions, communities, churches, mosques, or courtrooms. The AFL 23rd Anniversary Convention brought together female lawyers, legal scholars, and human rights advocates from across Liberia to explore themes of legal empowerment, gender justice, and strengthening the nation's legal institutions. We'll leave you there and look at more stories this morning. Jetty Rubber asks IRC to provide first free eye clinic in Margibi launches drilling project at South Beach. Okay, then this one here, huge transformation in Liberia's maritime sector as Father reveals strides at IMO. Let's bring you to the back page of this paper. Buchanan Group of 72nd faces eviction. From where? That's at the back page of this paper. And then AFL President First VIP gets re-elected at 23rd National Convention call for collective support to strengthen rule of law. This is also at the back page of this paper. We know so far these are all of the stories we have.
Okay.
Let's
All right. So thank you very much. That's a story I passed through because of time. Since the inquiry didn't give us that much, let me come back and catch up with the story. All right. Where is it? Rallies. No, this is not the story. It's where I saw the story. Okay. Here is it. Somewhere I saw the story somewhere. All right, yeah, it's it, and this is about the rule of law caucus taps former President Sirleaf to mediate House crisis. Amidst a deepening constitutional crisis in the Liberian House of Representatives, the rule of law caucus has submitted a draft proposal aimed at resolving the ongoing leadership impasse that has divided the legislature and challenged the authority of the Supreme Court. The proposal, submitted to former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for onward transmission to all parties involved, calls for the removal of embattled Speaker Jonathan Fonati Kofa and the conduct of a free, fair, and transparent election to select a new Speaker. Caucus describes the measure as a decisive step towards restoring trust, upholding democratic principles, and promoting reconciliation within the House. In addition to addressing the leadership dispute, the proposal outlines solutions to other unresolved issues that have disrupted the House's operations and undermined legislative governance. The rule of law caucus remains steadfast in its commitment to constitutional order, legislative independence, and the restoration of the dignity and credibility of the People's House, the group said in a statement. The proposal follows heightened tensions sparked by Representative Richard Namekon's rejection of a Supreme Court ruling that invalidated his self-declared speakership and reinstated Kofa as the legitimate speaker. A ruling delivered by Chief Justice Yae Nyenenji declared the actions of the majority bloc unconstitutional, stating that any sitting of the House in which the duly elected Speaker is present but not presiding lacks legitimacy. Korn, however, dismissed the court's ruling as an atrocious and audacious violation of the separation of powers doctrine. He insists that Kofa's removal was carried out legally under Article 49 of the Constitution and House Rule 9A, supported by a resolution signed by 50 of the 73 members. Citing allegations of corruption and mismanagement, in a defiant statement, Korn declared that the House, under his leadership, would neither recognize nor comply with the Supreme Court's judgment. No opinion or judgment of the Supreme Court can or will expunge or erase this resolution from the annals of the House of Representatives, Korn asserted. Plenary shall continue to conduct the business of the House of Representatives without any difference or regard to the Supreme Court's opinion and judgment. He further warned that the House would not permit Kofa to preside over any legislative session and vowed to proceed with national matters, including the 2025 national budget. The confrontation has intensified speculation about a constitutional crisis, with some lawmakers from the majority bloc, including Representative Collett of Bond County, hinting at possible impeachment proceedings against Supreme Court justices for alleged judicial overreach. The Supreme Court's ruling was widely expected to bring closure to the months-long standoff, which had stalled legislative functions and eroded public trust. However, with key factions still at odds, it remains uncertain whether the Rule of Law Caucus proposal would garner enough support to break the impasse and restore stability to the House of Representatives. So, folks, those are all the stories we brought you this morning. Let's recap for you. Esther, can you help me with the Inquirer newspaper? All right, so let's recap for you all of the stories we brought you this morning. Then we catch up with our break. So let's begin. These are the stories we brought you from the Inquirer newspaper. Rule of law is not an option. Cummings challenges Waka to enforce Supreme Court ruling. And unreasonable and economically hazardous third-party multi-users assets stored by HPX pushed to remove Accelemeter as operator, despite Accelemeter Liberia's long-standing investment. And lastly, for top stories, finding a lasting solution. Rule of Law Caucus taps former President Sirleaf to mediate House crisis. And let me bring you the big stories on the front page, Africa newspaper. Rep. Korn drops Speaker title in petition for re-argument. Tacit admission to Supreme Court's ruling. And it says here, ultimately, the decision by Richard Korn to use Honorable Richard M. Korn instead of Speaker Korn in the petition filed before the Supreme Court is not just a rhetorical adjustment. It reflects the high-stakes game playing out in Liberia's democracy, one where every word, every title, and every petition could shift the balance of power. And in this game, even dropping a title may speak louder than the threats. And religious leaders reportedly urging Speaker Kofa to resign as senators' position push executive to respect Supreme Court ruling. Catholic Church distancing itself from talks. Bias negotiation is the question mark to this caption. Sources close to Speaker J. Fonati Kofa have voiced concerns regarding this approach, suggesting that urging his resignation rather than emphasizing the importance of the president and the majority bloc fully respecting the Supreme Court's ruling could be interpreted as taking sides against the court's decision. And that does it for the front page Africa newspaper. Esther brought us the Inquirer, and these are stories she brought us. Lawmakers challenge Supreme Court's ruling, request re-argument over Speaker's dispute. And match words with actions. Who is saying this? Chief Justice Yo speaks to lawyers. And Jetty Rubber and SRC to provide first free eye clinic in Magibi, launching drilling project at South Beach. And then lastly, for the front page, huge transformation in Liberia's maritime sector as Repade reveals tries at the International Maritime Organization. To the back page, Buchanan Group of 77 faces eviction. And if a president and first VP get re-elected as 23rd National Convention, call for collective support to strengthen the rule of law. And these are all the stories we can bring you this morning from our newspaper. Let's bring in our colleague Gus to greet the audience, and then from there we can take our break. Gus, good morning.
Good morning, Esther and Wendell. How are you guys doing? Thanks for the reading.
Can you be a little bit
Yeah, Gus, you're a little bit lower. Okay. Yeah.
Good morning, Esther and Wendell. Good morning to the rest of Liberia. Thanks for the reading.
Thank you very much.
As I can speak.
Okay. All right, that's the voice of Gus Coleman. We're taking a break, and then when we come back, we send controls back to Gus to give us a sound of all of the stories we brought you this morning. But let's catch up with our break and be back.
I said, darling, you look so worried.
Charles, I'm worried because I don't know where to get stuff for my shop and restaurant.
Oh, come on, man. Haven't you heard about Exodus Best Price Store on Gurley Street and Smart Road Junction on the Old Road?
Oh, no, Charles. Tell me about it.
Exodus Best Price Store got everything for your shop and restaurant. And the good news is that they have reduced the prices of club beer products and imported beverages. So to keep that graduation party, wedding reception, and whatever occasion jump until the break of dawn, Exodus Best Price Store is that place for you.
Is that all?
No, they have for the first time introduced on the LIB market Buffalo Revive that comes with 4 different flavors: Cool Blue, Apple Kiwi, Full Red, and Fitness Orange. It's good for athlete and everyone. For wholesale and retail supply, call cell number 0770-617-575. Exodus Best Price Store on Gurney Street and the Old Road Smart Road Junction. We are your cheaper wholesale and retail store.
Exactly, when you want somewhere I provide it. So stand up, come on, some very deep, but put it to each.
Some more musical. There are crowds in many places, in every community, you know. You can see. So if you see crime and bullet, don't take law in your hand for the real authority. Let it come take your head. Crime stopper here for us. If you send them to your door, whether you reach or you go. If you see a human talking, I mean you judge it. You wait for yourself, babe. If you see a donkey, babe, you don't come to for it. Crime stopper, let people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stop me crying and make a peace for them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper, we have said the stopping crime for alcohol. Crime stopper, let people bringing safety to your door. Crime stopper, stop me crying and make a peace for them before. Crime stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime stopper, we have said the stopping crime for alcohol.
Crime Stopper Liberia is a community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, Old Man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, let people bringing safety to your door. Stop me crying, make it before them before. Stop Liberia, from the center to interior. We all said they stop me crying for alcohol. The people bringing safety to your door. Stop me crying, make it before them before. Stop Liberia, from the center to interior. We all said they stop me crying for alcohol.
Oh yes, folks. We say a big thank you to Crime Stoppers Liberia, Exodus Best Price Store, and Mayuba and Sons Incorporated. So, folks, we going back to our man Gus Coleman. Gus been there sitting, listening to all of the readings, and I'm quite sure he has his own analysis to all of the stories we brought you this morning. So, Gus, you can take the stage. Gus, are you there?
Oh,
We lost him. Oh, I think
he's here.
yeah. Gus, Gus, we can barely hear you. I don't know. Gus, we're not hearing anything from you. I don't know what's happening.
So if you can just leave and come back, I think it'll be good.
Gus, yeah, we're not hearing anything from you.
You
So
can just get out and come back. Yeah.
we're not hearing you, Gus. You're just talking. We're not hearing anything. I don't know. I don't know if his system is muted or what. Okay, Gus, you can come back and let's give it a try from there. But as you listen to all of the stories, this one thing, this speaker thing in our country, two crewmen fighting over power. One is legitimate, the other one say he's not going to give up, and all of that. So I don't know, where are we as a country?
And you know,
Gus, are you there?
cool people think.
Yes, I am.
Okay, I think
go
you're better
ahead.
now, Gus. Let's hear from you first, then we'll come in.
Yeah. Again, I think the discussion is really the national emergency that's unfolding. You know, it's really sad to listen to these. I'm going to use the word, I'll leave it because this is somebody's platform. You know, I can't believe young people in our society and people my generation. Like I said, our entire our entire life was uprooted. We were 10, 12, 6, 7. All we saw was war, missed school, all of these things. And we're going to sit here and allow old men, okay, continue to run us when we have a 35-year-old president in Burkina Faso. We have guys that just want to go sit in entertainment centers. They think they've arrived. They've arrived until 6 years after they lose election, then they have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go because you do not even see what is important, what is unfolding here. First, I want to commend all of the opposition political parties for coming together. I'll be honest with you. If these political parties don't stand up, they will not hear from us anymore. It's just sad. This old man and the Unity Party need to be put in check. This cannot go on. Listen, all they have to do is this. Go and sit down and have an election. They don't want to do that. If you don't want to do that, what is that telling the people? Then the other people in party shouldn't even start with us. They call them religious, whatever they are. Those people are useless people, and I'm a Catholic man. I'm devout. But here is the issue. These people continue to sit around and only talk when there's money given to them. Why are you telling a sitting speaker to resign? Okay?
Mhm.
And when you sat here all this long, the last 6 months, haven't said anything squat. Now all of a sudden you're telling a sitting speaker to resign. What can you tell the president to abide by the law? That would be a neutral person. But these people, some of them don't even believe in God. This is the reason why they do the things they do in our churches and all around here.
Mhm.
They come here every day. They run their mouth only when somebody gives them money. They have no respect in our society anymore. We believe in God, but we don't believe in men, especially men with questionable characters. And that's what we have in Liberia. They call themselves, how you call it, religious leaders. You are not a leader. A religious leader do not behave in such form and manner. A religious leader thinks beyond their pocket. A religious leader do not care about prosecution. Because if you are a Christian, You know what happened to our Lord and Savior. Okay? If you're a Muslim, you understand why Muhammad and all those people, the prophets, had to go through. You can't call yourself a religious leader. You sit on the sideline just because you're afraid of prosecution. You're afraid of somebody not giving you 2 cents. Let them move from here, man. But going back to the root of caucus, the root of law caucus, those guys need to hold their ground. They have gotten what they needed because apparently the Unity Party boys and their administration, the Joseph Boakai man himself, do not understand English. We can speak Bandi, Kisi, Loma, or whatsoever, they ain't going to understand it. The truth here is this. Only force can help these people, how you call it. And I've heard some of my friends call me, oh, the police is ready for that. That police can do nothing to nobody. When the people stand up, there is no police in Liberia that can handle it. When the people stand up, there's no military in Liberia that can handle it. They're all aware of that. But the people and the leaders need to be able to embolden the people to say, no, we're not here for violence. We're here to make sure the president, who's put his hands in the air to abide by the rule of law, refuse to. The Constitution that he said he will obey, he's not obeying. Okay? All these other people, the legislatures, all of them, these ministers, all of them raised their hands. They said they're going to obey and abide by the Constitution, and they refuse to. Then you citizens should sit there and don't let them abide by it, but be in fear of what will happen to you. Let them kill all of us. Because some of us will be their brothers and sisters. Some of us will be their mothers. Let's do it. This is what the women of Liberia did at one point. When these same old men today in government were playing with our life because they're on Chasina side, they're on Urumo side, they're on all these other sides. Going to all of these meetings, all of these accords, while we were dying, starving, and this and that, waiting for them to make a stupid decision. A decision that we have not benefited from almost 30 years later. Should we continue to sit down? I would say if you're in Liberia, you have to be a fool to sit there and allow these people to continue to play with this. Look, there's 6 years, these guys were elected for 6 years. So they're intending to waste 2 more years. Because that's all I can think of. There's no way a president that is 80 years old say he knew all of the issues. He knew how to fix everything. Almost 2 years in his presidency. He wants to continue Wahala. What kind of sense does that make? You have everything. You got food. You got everything. Every day you just want to give your mom and your parents a hard time. Because we, the citizens, are his parents. We elected him. And if he doesn't want to abide by the rules and regulations of our country, there's no reason why we should abide by him. There's no reason why we should respect him. There's no reason why we should stand under his gavel either. And I'm calling on the Liberian people, if you do not do this, you are giving another strong man a chance to do whatever they want. And we cannot allow it. And this man ain't even strong. This police isn't even strong. This military isn't even strong. We, the people, are only afraid because somebody put fear in us. They can't kill all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gus. You actually spoke my mind, and I'm also in support of the rule of law because, like Fonatikova said, he didn't see the Supreme Court ruling as a win for him. All right, he see it as building democracy in our country because this is a country of laws. Taking the laws into our own hands, disrespecting the highest court in the country. It shows no respect for us as a country. We are then laughed at by our brothers and sisters, our international partners, are just looking at us and telling us we are a dumbhead country. Can you imagine? We always waiting for the decision of the Supreme Court. Now the Supreme Court have spoken, and then the government, supported by the government of President Bouakai, is telling us that they're not going to honor the Supreme Court. I think it's a slap in the face of our country and the government. Because let's agree that they are three branches of government that do have the Supreme Court. Fonati violated their House standing rules. The court came in because the Constitution was being tampered with. So the court decided to come in and say, look, majority block, the way you are proceeding is not right. If you have your case, take your case to session and have this man, voted after showing all of your evidence, and facts it or what you call it, produce it, and then we can have this man out of the system. But you guys just put yourself together, a few bunch of renegades, lawmakers put themselves together, calling themselves majority black. I don't want to heal to the rulings from the Supreme Court.
And
I think it's wrong for our country and it's so bad for our democracy.
right. And Wendell, I was kind of surprised to see that the man is treating the place like it's his father's farm, putting iron getting under that.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny to see that you have people who are lawmakers and they are not respecting the Constitution.
That's like I
It is
said.
really sad.
That's like I said the other day. The shame is that Richard Namakun, after giving him all of the privileges and rights as speaker, so take it back from him. That's the shame he cannot stand. So I saw the man coming to work this morning or not easy.
It was not legally given to him.
Yeah.
So,
I saw the man coming to work this morning. I say, I see why this guy is so desperate for this speakership. But you won't do. You're already your government in power already. You have since you came into this presidency thing, since you took over this country, we've been seeing that a lot of missteps. So you won't move Fonati Kofa, you're good. And Fonati is not going to give up.
no, he's not.
Fonati is not going to give up
For the sake
because
of democracy,
exactly.
he would not give up.
And not money business. Like somebody post, I was reading something. Somebody said Fonati, they're trying to call. He requesting $10 million or what have you to step down the speakership position. And I mean, all of these things are just speculation.
That's a lie. That's Good Day and those guys.
Big lie.
And Wendell, all I'm hoping for is that Kofi can step into his crew shoes.
No, there are two crew men in there.
Step into her crew, yeah, but he's acting cold. Step into her rear crew shoes and take this thing because the Constitution backs
No,
him.
I don't want to put it that way.
Crew shoes.
I don't want to put it that way
You
because
crewman, why you letting another crewman to come be acting that he's so crew more
no,
than you?
I think he's
similar
just
crew, man, but
Fonati. What I see about Fonati is that Fonati
He's too quiet for my liking right now.
he's a respecter of the law. That's the
understand
person I see Fonati is. Fonati is a law-abiding person,
Mhm.
so he doesn't want to do anything that would jeopardize the peace of this country. That's why he's continued to channel his grievances through the courts.
We have one piece.
Yes,
Wendell.
Gus. Yeah,
So
Gus.
we have passed that point. I believe tomorrow is a session day, correct?
Mm.
So tomorrow is a session day, and again, like I said last week, if these opposition people that say all the nonsense, they themselves, because I'm gonna start being a little bit abrasive. If they all sat there and had all those speeches, and we all know who the speaker is, tomorrow is a session day. Fonati, except they're on break. I'm not sure because they got too many breaks. Tomorrow, Fonati Kofa is going to how you call it. It's gotta go in as the speaker.
Yeah, to
Of course.
preside.
To be however way possible. Like I said, President, we out. President, we have got sirens. Other people got sirens. Look, I don't care what you call it, even without sirens. The speaker is going to go tomorrow, and when he goes, he's gonna ask to be into his seat. Somebody who evicted him should be allow him to until something is done, until there is some negotiation going on. Look, just like the man already, you saw what he did when he filed a petition to the court. He did not refer to himself as speaker. You read that.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, again, when the rightful speakers show up at the Capitol, we want to see how Joseph Boakai police behave to him. Because if they do not accord him any of those, the citizens should have rights to go after them. The citizens should have rights to make sure let Joseph Boakai and his police become arrogant so the entire world can see who they are. Because all of them are any professionals. If Gregory Comer is a professional, he should be calling his bosses and say, tomorrow there's an issue. Because I don't know which way to go. I will not disobey the law. Because his position is at the will and pleasure. Une in Liberia, the police commissioner is at the will and pleasure of the, how you call it. This is why we need to change the law also. Because a policeman should not be worried about the president. Okay? So tomorrow, I will say, all opposition people that you said you support the rule of law. Tomorrow, when Speaker Kofa is going to the House, you need to be there. Everybody should be there tomorrow. If they do not afford him the respect of his position, then the Supreme Court has been violated over there themselves by the police and the executive. So, I mean, I'm just saying, if I was in Liberia and I was in any of these opposition political parties of power, we will make sure we take the speaker, the rightful speaker, because if you sit back, you are giving Joseph Boakai and his people enough power to believe they can get away with more. Tomorrow, anybody that have sirens, sure, the motorcycle people, you're getting in front of Kofa, you escort him to the Capitol building. Let's see if what's the name, Funati? I mean not Funati. Richard Kuhn and his goons will be able to stand in front of him. These people are useless. They don't have any clue. They have no respect, and it's a shame. You fight fire with fire, and these people want to fight. You need to fight them.
Thank you very much. That's the voice of the Tough Talk in Gus Coleman. So, folks, at this junction, we will entertain your calls and read your text messages. Those of you watching me on my personal Facebook page, my friend and brother, Alexander Okanta, is following. Brother Gabriel Sewell is following from the USA, Maryland. All of you, Josephine Sataman, Naomi Jones. I mean, all of you following us this morning, Haja Fatah Sayan, all of you following this edition of the Print News. We want to welcome all of you. So you can call us now and make your contribution, 0776 104 104, 086 500 104. The female line is 0770297016. And the WhatsApp line is +231 886 500 104. You can call us on those numbers and make your contribution right here on the program from the Print News. Let's take our very first caller on this female line. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Please, you have to raise your voice a little bit. Go ahead.
So thank you for the topic. One thing, conscious, I would love for this because Mexico has come out as the legitimate speaker of the House of Representatives and encouraging and letting go and prepare and preserve the speaker. When more the majority are letting go and preserve, let's see if we want to take the genders and them or the also can put on the and let people know because that wherever the majority are should be preserved by the speaker. And also wherever the minority are should also be preserved by the speaker. So
okay.
That the speaker go wherever they will gather to protection, let it go and preserve once they have a representative right in the capital city and go and preserve them. Then the case is put in on it and let us say the majority is like putting all that then their action as the opposition.
Thank you. Let's say happy birthday to our junior brother all the way there in the United States. Jebo Winston Nelson celebrates his birthday today. You're there in Minnesota, USA. I want to say happy birthday to you, J. Winston Nelson. Let's talk to this caller. Good afternoon.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Go ahead, Ambrose. Let's hear you.
You know, we didn't think Joseph Walker was not respect. And he has proven it. That is his plan. And then what I want to do, but I know what I'm doing, is the smart blah blah blah. Or we're going to work with the Quran. But who got Quran now? But, oh, when they say I'm going to work with Quran, they won't do it. They will restart the Supreme Court. Restart the Islam. I just passed a UL, then I tell you that. I want to get some over. Then I some over. Tomorrow, then I come.
But really, I'm surprised hearing this from you, because you were one of those that, I were on this platform many times, encouraging people during the campaign time, or, encouraging people to go and vote the Unity Party. Why this sudden change?
Because you know your life. Because once you get the money, you can think, somebody. Somebody can say something to you. And you believe it. And if you find something to you, that owns for the order, man. You get it for a long time. You will do it no better. 40 years or 12 years in a Miami, this man, you and will know better. So that is why I thought you were going to do better.
Okay. Thank you. This man has proven to be a disappointment. Let's talk to you. Hello. Yes. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Tell us your name and where you calling from. Okay, Mawati. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Mawati. And you see the way how they're starting it now. That is a clear indication that comes 2029, that's the same thing they will continue. So if we cannot put stop to these kind of lawful acts in our country, that means that we're giving more room to Joseph Walker and his renegades, because comes 2029, when another party win, they will say United Party win, because we're seeing the signs. So we need to step up as a country. We saw what happened in Kenya. We saw it. And I mean, similar thing is going to happen in Liberia if we are not careful. Mm-hmm. Let's talk to this person. Let's talk to this person. Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
President Joseph Walker is not a president for the country. And we are talking every day that we respect to a law that more and more is that we respect to a law. But I want to call more because over to ensure you should not resist, you should not put any rely on anybody, because we're going to stay, we're going to work against them for that, but stay in a time for nothing but to live for now. You cannot be that different tonight to be called there. Is not careful, you know, you reach that way now, but you reach like to reach that. You cannot be doing something to that people. We just say you want 2 years of that spirit. Can you manage our country? We just find our body that we talk about and I don't think to some of us. But it is highly regretful. That's why it's a complete laptop to our country. It's great for you as a president. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's talk to this person. Good afternoon. Okay, let's hear your contribution. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, and Peter David I come from another state like in what John David. Thank you guys for the fascinating discussion. When there are one thing Joseph Walker and only in government should understand is that the main right for any democratic society is the adherence to the rule of law. So the rule of law is the bill for our democracy. So Joseph Walker should have that at the back of his mind. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. They have come out the ruling against the man you call a speaker, Richard Cook. Clearly indicates that Richard is not speaker. What do you want to do? The Supreme Court is clear and it took the book to defend and protect the Constitution of the Republic of Europe. And sometimes if you are telling us that you are totally failed, that where you are fighting different arguments, that you are not mental capacity to confront this particular society, you are only here to create a theatrical situation to put in the right people into bad situation. That's the actual view of you. This is not one time. That's why you don't want to adhere to the court ruling. That will force you. You adhere to this particular court ruling. Nothing is going to stop you not to adhere to the court ruling because we're not sit here as an educated people and a group of intellectuals to allow you, an old man, old hand, and a black person degree to sacrifice our law. It's not going to work.
Okay.
The future of this particular country is what we are here for. Your future is totally lost.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you. Let's leave Liberia and go to the United States where we have Tom Kejio is on the line. Tom, welcome to the show this afternoon.
Okay. Good morning, my brother and friend.
Good afternoon from our end. Good afternoon from our end, Tom.
Okay. My brother and friend. I don't really know why people will continue to point fingers at use how you call him, Richard Coon. Richard Coon not doing things on his own. It is the president. He acting on the bottom of the president. Anything you tell him, what he does. That may not do anything on his own. If the president come out today and say, "Look, Richard Coon cease not to exist. Do not speak on that day," that man will never see you talking. You understand it? We have people all over the place. The basic social services that is supposed to give to the Liberian people. Look at what happened in Biara, the group of 77. Becoming victim. That one that not their concern. The concern is to steal money, to steal money, to steal money. That what they care about. So for me, I'm not blaming Richard Coon. It is the people that giving him the authority. Richard Coon sit down there, do this, do that. Anything you tell him to do, what he do.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, Tom.
So the Liberian people, then the next thing I want to say to the speaker, the Supreme Court have given their clarity on the issues of the House. You don't expect the Supreme Court to carry you and throw you in a chair and protect you. He being a lawyer. The way is clear. You the rightful speaker. So you need to take it go by the law.
Okay.
You will not say that so you won't go back to the Supreme Court again after they give their ruling. They sit down there, you want to do what you're supposed to do. The only thing they are so to put the speaker play on the car, but the only thing you can do, you got to mention the courage.
Okay.
You got to be a man. You got people that are go behind you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tom, for your contribution. We'll talk more on national issues. Yeah.
My man, I need your number, man. I want for us to discuss something.
Okay, I will get it. I will get it to you after the show, Tom.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's talk to this person. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is DJ Constance. I'm calling from Lakbashi.
Let's hear you, DJ Constance.
Yeah.
How are you, my man? How you doing?
I'm fine.
I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, man, I've been back in Nigeria, but I'm home now.
Okay. All right, let's hear you, DJ Constance. Let's talk national issues.
The problem I have with this speaker is the thing is the battle speaker They are a partisan and non-partisan. Now, if they have progress of Kufa, why did they vote him into power as the speaker? He's not a member of UP. Now, to get that guy back into the speaker position, I'm going to be tough. Do the code rule, but they will actually, because it's our him. All these months, is he telling me that he doesn't have a police number, or he doesn't know any of the houses? He couldn't go to do some background negotiation before the court will ruling there. The court will do this, and the court will ruling. He will have backup. And this guy didn't left Monrovia. The Witcher Constituency, they should meet in the station capital. They went as far as to go meet. It's inconsistent. The high bill on any snow. They will move it all the way to the United Conference Center. We all see this thing. But the problem is the Kufa. So I'm getting contact with all the guys, all the money, and then they get the people by now.
But Constance, how sure are you that Fonati, the Speaker Kufa didn't reach out to these guys as you claim?
Good. Where was Ilkit or Ilkit? If you are done it, as the guys went to our entry, of course, you use a session and see if the guy will go. When you start down, what the thing already there, what could you say? I mean, if you are used there all of me, a call session with the guy.
Okay.
You work with, I mean, well, of course, the secret means work with majority. The one the majority is the non-speaker. So what happens is?
Thank you, Constant. Let's leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's talk to this person. Hello. I'm fine. Welcome to the show. Is this Edmund?
Now you join us, we are here. Look, the reason I have to enter and go to the US, I would seriously agree with Esther and God that there's a need, there should be fire for fire because Waka is a serious creeping dictator. He needs to stop. If we sit there and allow him, the dictatorship will go around. So we need to stand up. And that is why we support the political party that is together over the weekend to say to Waka that we are allowing you to misbehave on a system, but that does not mean that we were not in this country and we are not here. So that is a clear finger to him. So they have been documenting according to them, documenting everything. Now it is time now to go into action. You can't keep documenting Waka misbehavior on the country, on the citizen, until every calm down. No! It is time now to order us in the action so that we'll start Waka from creeping on the so-called dictatorship into 2029. No, we need to start it right here. Look at the guy. You know, the last party, it was 2022 July celebration when the CSB Council of Israel had a conversation with the other guy. During the Independence Day speech as the president when you were making remarks, because the government is the same CDC, and the government when it comes to Baker when the guy was already in jail. But when the guys came out yesterday and did that statement, that call for war on the country, on the Ghana or the party alive, Waka has not come out to say anything about it. No, it said Immigration Ministry has come out to contain and distance themselves from that statement that was made by the guy yesterday.
Okay.
We are here. We are not going to be here. We will not be a prayer. We will face you. We will pass you from the phone with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Edmund. Let's talk to this person. Hello? So you think you want us to have a conversation like this? Yeah, good afternoon. Go ahead. I'm still getting feedback from you. I don't want to cut you off. So you have to lower the volume of your radio as I let you go. Go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Swan calling from Ibiza.
Welcome to the show. Let's hear you.
Thank you, man. The show is very important. I think I would sound the God that this thing is some force for Antifa.
Okay.
That's what I think is the alliance, the opposition alliance. Everybody should be on for Antifa to enforce it because this is the type of thing. Because the one thing I'm looking at is something that was done directly by Brecker. Brecker said, I'm taking him to the room. Behind me, you'll do X1 and it gets family. And again, he said, but it's not going to soon. Look at the kind of response. Somebody took away and behind him, they see family. And he said, but it's not going to soon. You want that directly into the police to write X1.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, they put James to go in. You have been meeting with the people for the better result. This and that. You are forcing the better result. If you know the better is not the wrong, it's not the right. Why are you forcing the result? Okay, because some people came up with money that for a case is the speaker. Yeah, knowledge is result, but yet you want to work with Burrow. Something that you have the power say, look, gentlemen, you'll stop what you're doing because he is 50 days.
Okay. Okay. Esther, you have to come back in here to get our few comments so we can go. Thank you very much, Mr. Swain, for your contribution. Thank you. No problem. Let me talk to you after the show. Let's talk to Masisi. Masisi, welcome to the show. My weekend was okay, Masisi. I'm grateful to God for life. I know, right?
Yeah, this has my birthday. When they are there listening. No, when what they message me, which is a boom, and not really by who will. He's taking it from who Waka, the puppet president in this country. And we're taking it from. Myself, I want to do about 2 days today. You out, that will be out today. But when they make it in the bed that you will meet them because the body will stop. All the battery there to come and say that you're going to honor him. He will honor you. What if money is talk without? Can you imagine he says about that bed to play? Okay, do you city? Is that his city? Is it okay for us to put the people to honor a gamble? They said no. And they put us with them. Who would you put to big information? And the money tap is simple. Even we got the time about to get up there. He's looking what in the market and telling him, then I want you to go get the well. What if I'm coming to the people who think they're about? And what would they follow and what would they want? No, they do that to the country. They respect the rule of law. And all men, my brother, my son with them. That man I keep on my people and the segment. I don't know for this, but I will say what they say this way. Because I want to say it. What is the country? They were fucking my people. I'm going to fucking try. And this time it's happening in this country. Let's see the about that issue. They respect the rule of law. They make them careful. If you do anything in your country, we can follow do that. It's not the war. You know, country. I don't want to go back to war no more. The apple of God and they said it up. My people, they say, you must say people will happy here. Don't see that all is better. They get it. God can say that. The boy can say it can't be three with them.
Okay.
I'm telling you, let me stop it. But they not clean. But they say, they use let me know what. But that for James, all those things not there. All that, they were blind in there. They say, 100 years, they will hold you.
All right.
What you do, everybody will get, I don't get what. They want to come to the country without saying it. So I said to us, they get what they say your phone. When the drop boy, they want to kill. And we don't get up from our friends. Huh? We shouldn't say that to a fellow brother. He want to kill us. Then what will they get for that right? So they don't tell the person, not tell the person, nah. What a man is, we're all happy. So he's not happy there. What do I put this on the place?
Thank you.
What do I put on the place?
All right, Masisi. Thank you, Masisi. Thank you. Thank you. We gotta go. Thank you, Masisi. Thank you. We gotta go. We gotta so we can go from here. I don't know where is Esther, so let me just read a few comments. All right, so let's take this one from it says following us from District 17. Thank you guys. Vinicius Junior Bar is following us from Newcretown. Clarence Obechi says volunteer is a civilized crewman. Richard Namakun is a complete bushman with Gil blood. Joseph Waka is responsible for Richard Namakun lawlessness. All right, so let's get few more comments. Because we gotta go. Progress of Rita Johnson, all of you, Clarence Obechi. Because of time, we cannot go through all of the comments. We promise next time. Yasa Sharif is watching. Cube Clinton is following us. Emmanuel Bro says President JNB is violating the Liberian Constitution by supporting the regime speaker, Richard Namakun, because he wants to sustain the inflated national budget for stealing purposes.